With the global pandemic going on, sleep schedules across the world have gotten really weird. For a very long time, I've woken up around 7 a.m. each day, but for the past weeks, it's become worse and worse. And now I'm waking up around 10 to 11 a.m. and I feel like shit each morning. I'm behind schedule, missing piano practice, feeling frantic while editing, and I have no time to play with Belle. I feel like my life is just in chaos. I need to do something about it. Take small baby steps. I tried progressively sleeping earlier and earlier, but it wasn't working. What do you do when the conventional advice doesn't work? You have all this pent-up stress in you, mixed with anger that things don't feel right. That's energy we can use. We may have taken steps backwards, but now we have room to run and take a giant leap forward. So then I decided, instead of waking up at 11 a.m. and feeling like shit, let's wake up at 5 a.m. and feel like shit. Before we begin, there's a question to keep in mind. Here's something I read from The Productivity Project by Chris Bailey. It's what you do with your waking hours that makes the difference in how productive you are. Chris woke up at 5:30 a.m. for several weeks and found that it actually decreased his focus and energy throughout the day. What he said in this book was actually one of the reasons I decided to put this habit off. It's still the same hours in a day, and I'll still get 8 hours of sleep. But on the other hand, why do I keep hearing great things about waking up at 5 a.m.? The 5 a.m. Club, Miracle Morning, people online saying, waking up at 5 a.m. changed my life. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I shouldn't just take the words spoken out of a book as truth and find out for myself. So let's do it. Let's wake up at 5 a.m. for 5 days and answer the question, which side of the spectrum do I fall in? 5 a.m. doesn't make a difference, or 5 a.m. changes everything. And at the same time, let's fix my sleep schedule. Before the beginning of trying something new, we need to prepare. The first experience for anything is special and filled with new feelings. So if I want to capture the differences in how I feel before and after, we need a plan. Here it is. 1. Sleep at 9 p.m. in order to get 8 hours of sleep. 2. Set up 2 alarms. One alarm next to me, which will be my iPad, and another alarm that forces me to have to get up in order to turn it off. Make sure the alarms have their volumes at a good level, and also make sure the second alarm is a bit annoying, so I have to get up to turn it off. 3. I think that's it. Luckily, thanks to quarantine, the variables in a day have been minimized. Edit videos, play piano, exercise, eat, and sleep. That's basically all I've been doing for the past weeks, and what I'll do this week. So everything is set. Now it's time to make it happen. 5 days, from Monday to Friday, 5 a.m.
It's 5:03 a.m.
Waking up at 5 a.m. is not easy. The night before, my body decided to anticipate my 5 a.m. wake up so much that I ended up waking up at least 3 times in the middle of the night. I was so worried about oversleeping that I had 2 different dreams of me waking up at 5:30 a.m. and wondering how the heck did I miss my alarms. Luckily, those were just dreams, and I did wake up on time. So I noticed something that was very, very different already. Not only was it very dark and light was very painful, but I felt oddly good and calm. That's a huge difference compared to waking up later, which causes me to rush in the morning and feel uneasiness because I'm behind schedule. Here's how I compare it in my head. Imagine waking up right next to this huge wall. It's dark, and all of a sudden you hear the sound of metal. Thousands of spikes have come out of the wall, and it's starting to move towards me. Now I'm frantic. I start running for my life, but the wall is just so fast that I have to keep up that rush pace, otherwise the spikes will kill me. That's a normal day. But when waking up at 5 a.m., it's like I appeared 1 mile away from the wall. I see it moving closer, but I'm not worried. As long as I keep pace throughout the day, I'll make it to the safe zone, no problem. That's a stark difference. It's weird because I know that it's only in my head. There's still only 16 hours of me being awake like usual, but somehow I just felt like I had more time. Doesn't make logical sense, but I can't deny the feeling of peace and unrushed focus I felt. It was like the complete opposite of my Pomodoro day. I did close to the same things. I played piano for a total of 4 hours, did video work for 4 hours straight, exercised for 1 hour, cleaned my house for 4 hours. This time without breaks during the activities. Yet, I felt like I was more productive. It seems that even given the same amount of time as a normal day, I can do more at a better pace. Not to mention, I just felt better overall. other than waking up at 5 a.m. and my sleep. This was definitely a big point for waking up at 5 a.m. can change your life. But let's see how tomorrow goes. I am feeling very, very tired. Once again, I felt terrible right when I woke up. And I started off my day in the same way. I walked around 2 miles on the treadmill while doing video stuff. And then I noticed something. It looked very nice in my living room. Did it always look this nice? Oh, it's the sun. I'm used to experiencing sunset, light to dark, but how often do I experience sunrise, dark to light? You know how when you're using a computer for a long time and around you it just keeps getting darker and darker, which is irritating because you don't want to get up, but you know the computer light is starting to strain your eyes more and more. Well, just imagine the opposite. You're working in the dark, a little irritated, and then all of a sudden everything around you just gets brighter and brighter and it feels good. The rest of the day went pretty much as well as the previous. Day 3 is when things got shaky. Once again, I woke up at 5 a.m. successfully, but this time I just felt off the entire day. On Monday, I napped for 1 hour, pretty abnormal. On Tuesday, I napped for 30 minutes, closer to normal before I did my 30 days of drinking 3 liters of water. Wednesday, I napped for 20 minutes. Seems like it's getting shorter and shorter. But something was weird on Wednesday. Even though I wasn't necessarily physically tired, I was mentally drained. It was hard to focus on work and piano practice was only okay. I ended up getting distracted by messaging people, watching some YouTube videos, and just being off task because of the lack of focus. I don't know if this was because of the bad sleep I've been getting the past 3 nights. I once again had dreams of waking up, but this time I kept waking up at 4:30 a.m. My worst fear had now become waking up in the middle of the night, and my dreams reflected that. So yeah, maybe all of that caught up to me on day 3. I felt pretty discouraged. It was like I would have been better off today if I slept normally. Not only that, I ended up sleeping at 10 p.m. instead of 9, breaking a rule. I did not set myself up well for day 4. Hey Siri.
It's 5:03 a.m.
Okay, I'm feeling super tired. Woke up in the middle of the night again, a couple times. I think this one has got to be the most tired I've felt. It is the least hours of sleep. So sort of makes sense. I never felt worse waking up in the past year. I absolutely hated it. But I was up, and I didn't want a repeat of yesterday, so I decided to try something different. I grabbed my camera and just stepped outside of my house. Immediately, I just felt better. The birds were chirping, there was little to no people outside, and the feeling of the air and sun was just refreshing. I haven't gone outside in the early morning in a very long time, and it just felt like a new experience again. Somehow, against all logic, I just felt my tiredness leave me. I slept the least amount, got disrupted the most, and had a crappy day yesterday. Yet, I felt I gained an energy that I didn't have in the past 3 days. I felt inspired by just being outside in the early morning. It's nothing I haven't experienced before, but I felt like my awareness was stimulated. I came back inside, my mom woke up and fed Belle. I've seen her eat plenty of times before, so why did I find so much joy just watching her eat at this moment? The world just felt different. It was like the sunrise effect, but amplified by 100, because I was actually outside. The rest of the day was surprisingly energetic. Other than the usual piano practice and video work in the morning, I decided to read a book I've been meaning to read for a while. It was sort of off task, but I really didn't mind. To me, it was accomplishing a task I've been putting off and finally resolving it in my head. And now, the final chapter of this journey, day 5. I think I adapted to the routine now. Sleep around 9 p.m, wake up a couple times in the middle of the night, dream about me waking up at weird times, then actually waking up to an annoying alarm for me to feel shitty. Honestly though, worth it. Because the best part of today was being outside around 5:30 a.m. Compared to the rest of the day, which was extremely hot and exhausting, the morning was nice and cool, and it felt like I could do my best work at this time. So from the 5 days, here's what I can gather as the lesson. The cost is less time at night. You have to be stricter with your sleep schedule. At least for the first 5 days, it's not gonna feel good waking up at 5 a.m., especially if you're not used to waking up at an earlier time. It sucks, it's painful, and your mind and body will resist it. But to me, the payment is worth the benefits. Access to a new sense of peace and clarity, the feel of the morning air and the sight of sunrise. To feel like my life, although there's still struggle and days that aren't great, has a sense of stability, and that I can take more time to appreciate the little things. I resisted trying this for so long. I wanted to wait until the next daylight savings so that I could get an extra boost. But I had this feeling inside of me that was just screaming at me, saying that I had to change something. I chose to act instead of wait, and now I'm convinced that waking up closer to 5 a.m. is something I plan on doing way more often. So yeah, I think I'm won over by the side. Waking up at 5 a.m. can change your life. Of course, I've only done this for 5 days, so let's see how things unfold in the long term. If you've ever made the transition to 5 a.m. before, let me know what your experience was like in the comments. I'd love to hear what kind of differences you felt during the transition. Also, if you're interested in what my process is for how I stay diligent for these productivity challenges, you can find my free guide I made on how to create a strong system on my website. So I know this video was only for 5 days, and one of the goals was to fix my sleep schedule. I did so for 5 days, but of course, I'm uploading this video on the weekend right after those 5 days, so I can't really tell you guys yet. So what I'll do is make a comment 1 or 2 weeks from now and tell you guys whether or not this challenge actually helped fix my sleep schedule for the long term. Thanks a bunch for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. In terms of energy and stuff, one weird effect is that I am actually hungrier during the morning now. When I started on day 1, I didn't feel hungry at all. I noticed what happened was I started to get hungrier and hungrier earlier and earlier. Like yesterday, I think I was hungry around like 8. Now I'm hungry around like 6 something. So I think my body sort of adjusted to me waking up earlier. Definitely one huge negative throughout this whole experience has been the dreams that I've been having. For some reason, they're so stressful. I normally don't have stressful dreams. And the thing is, I remember my dreams from each night, so they're normally like either interesting or fun, but like recently they've just been stressful. Like yesterday's dream, I think I had like spider webs in my mouth, and it was very distressing. But that's a weird side effect I'm sure most people won't experience, because most people don't remember their dreams from every night, I think. Just something interesting to note about my experience. I think energy isn't an issue. I'm like super dead tired at the very beginning when I wake up, but after getting ready and actually starting to do something, I feel good again. Especially now that I've done it for 5 days, I can safely say, like, I know 5 days doesn't sound like a lot, but I think our bodies kind of adapt pretty quickly. So doing it 5 days in a row, my body just feels like it's a lot more used to it now. And the only part that kind of sucks is waking up. And I'm pretty sure that's because of my alarms as well as the sleep that I'm getting. So if those two things were to improve, I feel like me getting up at 5 a.m. wouldn't be as harsh. One of my friends recommended essentially a light that is supposed to replicate like sunlight. So I'm thinking about trying that once I start transitioning to 6 a.m. I guess. I want to try to do 6 a.m. tomorrow and keep it up from now on, because I know whenever you sleep, it's supposed to be around the same time, and whenever you wake up, it's supposed to also be around the same time. So I don't want to like mess up my circadian rhythm too much. I mean, I basically already did. And I've been talking so long that it's gotten brighter. It's great. Okay, it's 6:30 now. Let's see, anything else that I want to say for the camera? Energy's good, productivity's good, tasks, clarity, sunrise feels good. There's just a lot of benefits to waking up like much earlier. I think it doesn't have to be 5 a.m. like what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move it to 6 a.m. but it's way better than waking up at 9 or 10, like unquestionably better for me. And I think it would be better for most people too. Even though I know a lot of people say that they're night owls or they prefer the night, I think most people naturally, because we're all human beings, so we have similar biologies. So I think most people would benefit from actually like doing stuff earlier when the sun rises and sleeping earlier when the sun sets. I think it's just more natural. But I can only speak for myself, but that's just my hypothesis. It's just my guess. So I would recommend trying it out and finding out for yourself. That's the only way to find out for yourself. Because no amount of reading a book is going to tell you whether or not it works for you, So that's been my whole like thing with self-improvement books, right? That's why I stopped reading them, because I wanted to apply that advice and really find out, like, does it work for me? Because a lot of people are going to tell you it doesn't work for them, or it does work for them, but you never know if it works for you unless you try. So that's what I'm doing right now, and it works. It works for me. So there's no doubt in my mind that this is what I prefer to do, and this is what I'm going to do, like, from now on. It just seems better. Like, it just makes life easier, less stress, less rushing, and it just feels right. It feels like things are in balance and not in chaos like usual. And I think that's a huge difference that I really needed at this point, because I've just been doing so much video work in the past like couple months that I would have burned out if I kept doing the same thing. I would have probably taken another like really long break. But for now, I'm feeling like I can keep this pace up for a good while. I can probably keep it up forever if this is all I did. But of course, once this quarantine thing is lifted, there's gonna be a lot more stuff to do. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like stuff that I want to do. It's not, well, not all of it's gonna be stuff I want to do. There's always gonna be work that needs to be done that isn't like what you want to do, but you still gotta do it. So, but it's still better to do it in a state of mind where there's clarity and a sense of peace versus chaos and you're just stressed all the time. So, and normally I don't stress very much. If you ask my friends like a word that describes me, they actually said this in college. They said calm, because I normally am a very calm person. Unless we're playing board games, that's different, but usually I have a level head and I don't allow myself to like stress about little things. But the more I kept doing video work and like neglected exercise and neglected piano, I just felt like I was starting to hate the way I behaved, even though that's like I'm working hard and I'm doing what the priority thing by like doing video work that can potentially help my channel grow and potentially help me increase my income. Most people would prioritize that versus passions they have. I can see how this whole 5 a.m. thing can change somebody's life. From chaos to balance, it works. It works well. Even though Wednesday was like a shitty day in terms of productivity, I was still happy throughout the day, and that's something that I feel like I needed to clarify. Even though like that was a shitty day in terms of productivity, I still felt pretty good in terms of just existing. Like I wasn't unhappy with myself or unhappy in general. I was still playing with Belle and still like relaxing, and that was still good. It's just I was tired, that's true, but at the same time, not every day is gonna be like super energetic, despite like what time you wake up. Like I can wake up at 9 and still feel like super tired throughout the day. So there's a lot of variables to deal with, but I do feel like the 5 a.m. thing can make a difference, and a good difference. Now let's get to work. Because I think I've discussed pretty much everything I wanted to.